Boomer Sooner.
Handoff up the middle, easy like Sunday morning, touchdown.
This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. Also brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Walden Cleaners. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner. Here are your hosts, Chris Plank and Gabe Ikard.
All right, it's game week. It's South Carolina. Welcome to Coach's Corner. That's Gabe Ikard. I'm Chris Plank, and we're very excited to welcome in a first-time guest on Coach's Corner, the Sooner Special Teams Coordinator, Doug Deacon. Listen, special teams have been a major part of this.
It was a block in the back.
And there was a block in the back on the punt return touchdown. Maybe
Let's just get that out of the way.
Maybe two, maybe three.
That was loud. I apologize.
But Coach,
he's probably not going to complain about
anything.
It. I know we're going to dive into Coach Deacon's background first, but I was very frustrated.
I'm really glad to see that you've moved on from it. That's the most important.
No. There's no moving on from that. That is as blatant as it gets. He hits him right in between the fours.
He's probably going to make the play, too. But
was that a significant play in the game?
Maybe.
Ridiculous.
Come
on. What are we doing?
I'd say welcome to Norman, but we've been here for a minute. This is just the first chance we get to talk to you. As a matter of fact, you and your wife, Emily, you have a baby that was born here in Norman, too, right?
Yeah, Norman Regional was a Father's Day baby last year. So 3 Deacon dudes, Tyler, Tate, and Tripp, 5, 3, and 1.
Boy, dad, I'm girl dad. I'm
the
girl
Deacon
dad. So
dudes.
I like that. That's fitting.
I like that a lot.
It's going to stay. How'd you end up here in Norman?
Well, get a phone call from Coach Venables. This was last year, and I was a lifer at San Diego State. Born and raised in Southern California, about 30 minutes north of Los Angeles, and then walked on at San Diego State. And I wasn't a kicker or punter. I played quarterback in high school for a triple option, but my way on the field was special teams at San Diego State. And then upon graduating, said I'd never work a day in my life if I got to coach football. And Rocky Long allowed me to volunteer for the first year, and then became a GA. And then 13 years later, I was special teams coordinator for 6, and then here I am at Norman when Coach Venables called.
What was that call like? Anyone that's ever gotten a call from that man, it's certainly, he has a unique ability to sell you on things. So what was that conversation like? Because it couldn't have been easy to leave San Diego State with how long you'd been there.
Well, the first thing that resonated to me, it wasn't any selling. He was very much, tell me about yourself, because we were not connected. No one on the coaching staff had coached with me. But he goes, how the heck are you still at San Diego State with your resume? And I just said, well, Coach, great players. And my job's to make it schematically sound and simple so they can play as fast as possible. But the kicker to me was then he went into about 40 minutes of each player individually on the roster over the phone with me. And I just went, sold. Just how intimate he knew the players, how important special teams are, and specifically as a defensive coach, how important field position is. I didn't have to sell him on that, and I mean, and his buying in the culture and what he sets here, it's second to none.
Our opening segment, as always, is brought to you by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. You mentioned special teams were your way on the field, and from getting to work with him for about a decade now and working with Teddy Lehman for a while, I think these student athletes, these young men, they're starting to get to know that, right? I think back in the day, I sucked at football, so that was the only way. I was the up man, and it snapped back to the punter. I'd get run over every time. That's where they put the bad players. Now, it's not only a way to get on the field, but it's a way like Elijah Thomas. These guys, Taylor Wine last year, and then of course you're putting your best players out on special teams. Are players understanding the importance of, hey, you can really make an impact on special teams and it can lead to your career taking off?
That's what I was most impressed with. Year one, there was no rah-rah, get them excited about it. It was like, tell us what we need to do because we're here to win. I was most impressed about how the players are football players. They love special teams, and I beg to differ, Mr. Plank. You were the quarterback of the punt team.
That's right.
You were the up back.
I was the up back.
You had to call for the ball, and then you were the last line there.
Yeah.
So you're a big deal, and
That's
it's
right.
a big deal here. So as you ask me that
There you
question,
go.
they take it as serious as it gets. And when you get Danny Stutzman last year as an example to tell Sooner Nation. He's up in my office, spring practice #1, and he goes, "Coach, why am I third on the depth chart at right guard on punt?" And I smiled ear to ear. And I said, "Danny, hi, I'm Coach Deacon. I've just watched 3 years of you on film, and boy, you can play right guard. I'm trying to see if this freshman, this sophomore can help us play." And he didn't understand. And I just smiled and said, "We're going to be a really good team if this is the heart of our team, if our defensive captain." And he goes, "Well, by fall camp starting?" I said, "You got it, Danny."
That's
great.
That definitely sounds like Stutzman. Now, transitioning to another linebacker, Owen Heineke has been a standout on teams these last couple of seasons, and I believe it's a big reason why he's where he's at in the linebacker rotation. What has it been like seeing Owen develop on teams and now have the role he has on the defense?
He is the epitome of a Sooner. I mean, OU DNA, we talk about that. That is Owen Heineke. And that is my favorite part of coaching special teams because, boy, the linebacker core here are full of dudes. And it wasn't to say that he couldn't have played at any point prior, but sure as heck, he gets to show every Saturday on teams covering in full field just how great of a tackler he is. He is one of the smartest, most instinctual players. And I put a lot on him on the special teams game plan-wise, on who he's matched up with, getting us in the right calls. And he always over-delivers because he's very intelligent and he's a great football player, playing in space, physical, uses his hands. So it's no surprise to me, and it really isn't to the staff either. They've seen this now over the course of his tenure here, coming from Bishop Kelly High School here in Oklahoma. I mean, he's a ball player.
I think Gabe went to Bishop McGinnis.
I went to Bishop
Kelly.
McGinnis.
That's
Okay.
right.
Home of
Right.
Zach Schmidt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We had Zach Schmidt last year.
McGinnis' finest.
Come
That's
on,
right.
come on.
But it's these guys that step up and want that role. You know, I mentioned Elijah Thomas. Here's a guy that a lot of people are wanting to see, play wide receiver. Coach, he's earning his chops in special teams, and he's making plays. In fact, so many times I'll look and I'm like, 14, is that Powers or Thomas that's out there? Because he's really embraced that role with special teams, hasn't he?
Heck yeah. He plays 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's always, as a special teams coordinator, especially on like coverage units, you're always going to elect to play defensive guys because that's what they're doing every day is tackling in the open space. But boy, from day one that Elijah stepped foot on campus, it was evident through drill work. He put in the effort in practice, and he is one of the finer that you're noticing on Saturdays, covering down on kickoff, covering on punt, and he's been on all four. I mean, talk about a guy that has really embraced it and just excelled, over-delivered.
Now, I think Elijah Thomas is a guy that has stood out. Certainly Owen Heineke is a guy that has stood out. And we'll talk about Sandell and Grayson Miller next segment. But who are some other guys that you've really seen some growth and development from in teams this year, like as the season has gone along? Are there a couple guys that you really have seen improve throughout the weeks?
Yeah, first guy that comes to mind is Michael Boganowski.
Oh my goodness!
Is he fun to coach or what? He is a human peace missile out there. I mean, he will find the football, and when he gets there, he's going to introduce himself to the ball carrier. He has taken a tremendous leap, and he played as a true freshman last year on teams and did outstanding. But as you asked me, like, who's really grown? It's Michael Boganowski. There are so many others, and for sake of a segment here, you'll have to cut me short.
Take all the time you want. You're taking time from Chavis, so go
Another
ahead.
guy that is a veteran player is Sammy Omasigo. He's a stud, and you just look in his eyes out there. He's always ready to go. He's covering with his hair on fire, and a guy I count on. And there's plenty of younger guys too that have stepped up big, as a Taylor Wine did last year. There's certainly players that across the board and by class, whether you're a freshman or senior, that's my favorite part of being here, is that the best players play, and that's Coach Venables' and mantra, and ultimately allowing on game day, and it's been critical.
Question for you, and it's a dumb one, so feel free to tell me it's dumb. Do you just put Okoye on kickoff cover because it's terrifying?
Who wants to block 16?
Oh my God.
It's very evident to me, and I say in drill work, hey, listen, that double team's going to be a little stouter. These guys, it's like, I think some guys turn it down, and it's evident on game day too. They need to double team him to take him out of the equation. Oh, he's not a good matchup for the opposing teams.
I always, my eyes on kickoff coverage, my eyes are always drawn to him because I'm so interested in how the opponent's going to handle it. It's like you've got this 250-pound dude that can absolutely fly, hauling down the field. It's the worst case scenario when you're on a kickoff return with a guy like that's on the coverage team.
0 brakes, no parachute on him, no e-brake, straight gas.
Hey, before we grab our first break, we're going to talk about Grayson and Tate when we come back. I'm just curious to see how the NFL has tried to get the kick return, and I guess maybe punt return is irrelevant, just the kick return back in the game. I feel like we're seeing that a little bit more in the college game. Where do you kind of stand? Are you, hey, let's go ahead, fair catch, get it to 25, or do you like the idea of your kick returners trying to make a play?
Well, I'm surprised it hasn't trickled down to the college game. I'm always waiting in like summer when we're about to kick off fall camp and then they implement the same NFL rules. But in answering your question on kickoff return, it's about field position. If you can't guarantee that the offense is going to start on a 75 or better yard field, then there's no point in returning. So in the kickoff return game, adding value is giving the offense a better than the 25-yard line start. We did a poor job last year, a poor job coaching some of our angles. And at this point, it's like when we get a great opportunity for balls kicked to us deep, then we are returning. And there's times where that's not advantageous for the return where you don't.
Let's just get this out of the way. You guys have been fantastic in kickoff coverage. You've been fantastic in punt coverage, but you do give up the touchdown against Texas on the punt return. Now, I think I've already voiced my displeasure about a blatant block in the back not being called, but how frustrating was that for you in that moment, giving up that play?
Very much. 1-score game. And that's a momentum play, let alone making it a 2-score game. And there was no yellow flag on the field, so there wasn't a foul. And the reality is we had 8 players to the left of the returner, and that is a glaring, that's back to the basics and where we continually have. So you say frustrating, it's like, yes, that is a day one fundamental breakdown on us and me as a coach and not having the guys understand to get back to their leverage. Grayson, it's a beautiful ball. It's outside the bottom of the numbers, right? And the guys were hauling to get there now, but we had 8 players on one side of the returner, and that's not a recipe for success in tackling it.
Quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the specialists. Tate Sandell, Grayson Miller have had an awesome season so far. Doug Deacon's our guest inside the Coach's Corner. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, it's always a good time.
Coach's Corner is presented by Riverwind Casino. This segment is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today with Gabe Eichert. I'm Chris Plank. That's Coach Doug Deacon, special teams coordinator. Okay, we got 2 rock stars, Tate Sandell, Grayson Miller. Gabe, where do you want to start?
We got to start with Sandell because he's got that awesome accent.
What is that? Is that like like country? He's
country. He definitely, you can tell he's definitely country.
What have you made of his progression? We had a chance to talk to him post game after the Kent State game, maybe?
Yeah, when he was dropping bombs.
What a story he's been.
That's a Port Neches, Texas accent, apparently.
Okay.
He's Mr. Confident in all the right ways. Very even-keeled. He's not this rah-rah guy, but has a very great self-confidence. And the way he's come in is about his work. Had a phenomenal season at UTSA last season. He's got great mechanics, and he has a phenomenal leg. The contact and what you, as a coach, when you listen to the ball mesh with his foot, and when it sounds like a car crash to where if you plug the aux cord into your car and it makes the subwoofers pop, that's the sound you're looking for, and Tate possesses that.
I love this. You can feel the passion for the content, the foot contact. It's great. And you mentioned his confidence. One thing that he told us a couple weeks ago was that he doesn't need to do a bunch of practicing before he goes out there and kicks. He's like, if I need to find my confidence before I go out on the field, like, I haven't done my work.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday the way I need to do it. So just how refreshing is it for a kicker to have that type of mentality and to coach a guy with that level of confidence?
He's not reinventing the wheel. He's very assured, and if there is a mishit, it's very easy to diagnose what went wrong. So it means the world. That's what you ultimately, as a coach, you're trying to develop. Now, fortunately, as a transfer, he had that very much as a baseline, and is super important. The other contributing factor is actually the competition that's been here. As we brought in Austin Welch through spring practice and Liam Evans, hometown hero, Moore High School, they have been lights out to the point where tapes, it's not just come in, it's my job, I'm Mr. Self-Confident. He's had to earn it. So that's been a huge, huge reason for his success and staying locked in.
Another dumb question coming your way, Coach. Are you like deep into the details of field goal kicking, like technique? Is that something that you have a ton of knowledge in, or do you use someone else as a resource? Like, how does that work? I have no idea.
Well, let's get into the weeds.
Yes.
All right.
Well done.
I just told you I never kicked or punted or snapped myself. So I've never walked in their shoes. The greatest benefactor was me coming out of San Diego State because of great resources there. John Carney being one, Nick Novak, all-pro player, and NFL kickers that I would pick their brains all the time. And the best part is Coach Novak, Nick Novak, who played for the Chargers, is a high school head coach in San Diego. And all of the NFL players and specialists go there in the off season. So I would literally set up a lawn chair, put the camera on, and just watch these guys and listen to a lot of the coaching techniques and things that they talked about, and then personally ask them. So I've used those as resources. And when we talk about getting into the weeds with mechanics, as long as you are repeatable and efficient, right? Those are my main things, and being good right here. That's where the value that I'm adding to them and that we talk about as we watch film, because they very much, every kicker is different. I believe in there's no cookie cutter. You must step with your right foot 6 inches, left foot this many, and do this and that. They already have that figured out once they're here at the collegiate level. And my job is to make sure they're totally self-confident in what they're doing and making sure they're completely efficient and repeatable at doing it. So when there are mishits, I know exactly, I was too tight with my plant foot. Those sort of things.
Now watching some kickoffs here on the TV side of things. That's another.
We're just wasting time because
Well,
thank you very much. We either blast it into the end zone.
Oh, this was great on the headset. Oh no, I go. He mishit it.
No.
And Coach
Yes.
Venables goes, "Oh, I think this is going to be just fine." Obviously, had some serious Mandarin on that ball as it squibs all the way to the 2.
But you guys have been so good on your kickoff coverage, and Tate's got such a strong leg to put it through the end zone as many times as he does. Just, how important is that for a team? Like, how important is that for you guys, not only as a special teams unit, but what it does for our defense?
It's the purest form of defense, and you're legitimately having to cover 53 1/3. So it starts with the kick, where you're locating it, but you're setting the tempo. We are the first play of the game. Right? Kickoff return, but speaking specifically about kickoff, you are setting the tone. And just as we talked kickoff return, our value is our defense being on a longer than a 75-yard field, or else it is considered a loss. Right? If they get the ball at the 26, I count that as a loss in a Monday meeting with the guys, and how can we fix that? So it's coming out with great intent. It's being the purest form of defense, and then it's setting the tone. I mean, the defense taking the field on a 76-plus yard field, they ain't scoring very often.
Right. It's impressive. Hey, before I let you get out of here, let's talk about Grayson Miller. Coach Venables called him a crawl-on one time instead of a walk-on, which I thought was great. But, man, the kid can flat-out launch it.
No doubt. Deer Creek High School, Edmond, he is. He started his career as a soccer player. All right? Tremendous athlete. And what's the best part of it that I could say about all of our players on our roster is who he is. That you're now seeing, like, who is he? He's one of the best human beings, one of the more humble, hardworking, and ultimately super talented. He is the same guy every day. He's got the biggest smile on his face with that caterpillar sitting on his top lip with that mustache.
Push broom up top.
And the guys just, it resonates, it permeates to the rest of the team. I'm telling Coach Jay, like, oh, hang on. And then here comes David Stone with a bear hug after a down in the ball at the 1 at Kent State. I'm going, oh no. And then here comes wine. I'm like, is that a Heimlich maneuver?
Don't hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't hurt him.
Adjust his back here. It's just fine the way it is. But they are so fired up about him, who he is, and it's a lot of fun to see.
That's awesome.
What do you think? What type of message do you think it sends, not only to the other guys in your special teams units, but just the entire football team, when he's now, like, he's our star punter, and he wasn't necessarily in the plan going into the season? What type of message do you think that sends to the rest of the guys? Like, when you get your opportunity, if you make the most of it, man, the job can be yours.
Absolutely. And that is the perfect example. That's putting in the work, so when the opportunity does arise, it's not, oh, get tight.
Right.
Let's go. Let it rip is our mantra. And ultimately, in any position other than a specialist, it's next man up. And ultimately, my job in putting the right guys out there, it's how we practice. It's putting in the work. You've earned this role. You may have been a 2 to a state that Owen Heineke was a 2 at linebacker. But now it's like him balling at linebacker. That was no surprise to anyone on the team or the staff. He's put in the work. He's done it on special teams. And that's my favorite part about being the special teams coach. And then they flourish at the position where they had been behind initially in the depth chart. It's no surprise. They've been putting in the work from day one.
It's only a matter of time till Satania breaks one.
That's right.
It's coming. I can feel it.
That's right.
I can feel it.
Thanks, Coach. You're the man. That's Doug Deegan. Awesome. Miguel Chavis is coming up next inside the Coach's Corner. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free.
Welcome back inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind Casino. And the segment brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. Please welcome in Sooners Edgeman, the Edgeman coach.
Yeah.
Chavis.
Guys, how we doing?
My man.
Good, man. How are you?
Great.
Obviously, we're moving on to South Carolina, but how have you seen your guys, how have you seen this team respond this week in prepping for the Gamecocks?
Man, it's been encouraging because, you know, we talk about all offseason about, and during the season, about being a player-driven team. You know what I mean? And after a loss to the team down in Austin, you know, like our expectations here is we know the standard at Oklahoma. You know what I mean? And this team is a confident team. This team is an invested team. And when you have a disappointing loss like that, a hard loss to your rival, you can respond one of two ways. And so we just talked to the guys about, man, just keeping it real, the wisdom that we've had as former players and as coaches is you can't let the same team beat you twice. And then just be honest and be realistic about, you know, what happened from a coaching perspective, from a player perspective, from a team perspective for us not to get that win. And then you got to identify it. You got to look in the mirror. It's one thing to look in the mirror and see that your hair is messed up. It's another thing to go get a brush and brush it. And so be honest, you know. But if you want to be delusional and you look in the mirror and be like, man, my hair looks great, and it don't look great, and then you're never going to fix it. And so we had great talks with our guys after the game on Saturday, and then Sunday, break down tape, and then Monday kind of just finish it and put it to bed, you know, and then moved on. You got to. In this league, you have to move on. And, you know, it was, and the team that we're playing is a real team, you know, and the dude at quarterback is a dude.
Ooh.
You know, he is a player. He's Danny Okoye at quarterback. And the offense is good. And they got running backs that run the ball really hard. And the offensive line is very, very aggressive and physical. And they got a dude at wide receiver. And so you can't feel sorry for yourself, and you can't lick your chops. Just look across all of college football, teams that lost a big game, and they let that same opponent beat them twice. And so our guys responded the right way. Talking about being a player-led team, the leaders on the team, like Monday, on Mental Monday, getting back at it. And so it's been good.
Now, just one more question about Texas,
Sure.
and we'll move on.
No worries.
Is it encouraging or frustrating? What is it for you when it was really just a handful of plays?
Freaking infuriating.
Yeah, I thought that was the case, but it's
listen.
in like their biggest run of the game. R. Mason's there to make the play in the backfield.
Listen. All right. So what's the good out of that game? Because I'm a positive person. I think optimistically more times than not. 1 Corinthians 13 talks about hoping all things and believing all things. And so when I come into a situation, I want to hope the best and believe the best. And you have to be a realist. And so, all right, what was good? All right, what was good was we had 12 TFLs. That's pretty good. What's good? It's still not our standard, but 4.8 yards per play. Pretty good. That's pretty good on 62 plays for about 300 yards. Okay. What's bad? We lost. That sucks.
That's bad.
What's bad? The defense did not play well enough to win, especially at my position.
I disagree with that, but continue your list.
We didn't play well enough to win. What's bad? We only had one sack. One sack. From a defense and an edge group that has freaking been terrorizing people. All right. What was good? The effort was good. What was good? The strain was good. What was bad? The execution in the most critical moments. And so the one sack should have been legitimately, I'm not making stuff up. It should have been, after watching the tape, and we're watching on the sideline, it should have been 5 to 6 sacks. What's bad? 10 for 17 on 3rd down. From this defense? And it starts with me, and it starts with our room, and then it's the whole defense. It all works together, man. Like the front 4 and the back 7, or the front 7 and the back 4, however you want to look at it, it works together. And offense, defense, especially playing complementary football. And so, once again, we don't have any delusions. What's bad? 3 runs, explosive was over 15. So explosive run, right? 3 of them, okay, were like 70 yards, or 80 yards for 3 runs. That can't happen. And that starts with, the effort's great, okay, but it's the execution. It's a missed tackle. It's putting your head inside when you're supposed to keep your butt outside. It's the discipline in the most crucial moments, every play in the SEC, to do your job. And it starts with me as a coach and us as coaches.
How, with the way that the offense struggled in that game, and Venables, this is something Venables talked about in his media availability this week, was he felt that the defense was pressing.
Yeah.
I got to go make a play. Part of me believes that may be attached to what was going on the offensive side of the ball. How do you make sure that the guys in your room and the guys on this defense don't worry about what's going on offense?
Yeah.
Like, that they focus on just doing their job and they don't press.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with coaching. I really do. And I'm not trying to, once again, players play the game, okay? But as a coach, and Coach V taught me this, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen, okay? That's a real thing as a coach. And I think any coach worth his darn feels that accountability and feels that ownership. And they know that when I go out in town in Norman, or I go out with my wife on a date in Oklahoma City, all right, I represent my players. I am a reflection of my players, period. Okay, and then when the players play the game, they're a reflection of their coach, period. And so you make sure they know that, and you make sure it goes both ways. And then you make sure you take ownership as a coach of do your job. And once again, forget the offense. We didn't play well enough for us to win. And you can look at it the other way. All right, the defense isn't 10 for 17 on 3rd down. That's more possessions for the offense. At the end,
right.
It was 3-6 at halftime. And, we didn't handle the second half well. And there's some plays that we didn't make in the first half as well, keeping it real on defense. And so I think you focus on yourself, as a coach, as a player, and you don't have time to R. Mason Thomas doesn't call plays. Miguel Chavis doesn't contain the football. What am I tasked to do on this play? And then I have to win my one-on-one. Win your one-on-one. My execution, my physicality, my effort has to be greater than the guy lining up across from me. If it's not, more times than not, you're going to have a losing performance. If too many guys have a losing performance, you lose. And so, yeah, well, our guys are ready to go. They're excited to play South Carolina.
All right, we got time to ask about one player before our break, so I want to start with the closer, R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
I sat with him last week. He was telling me the story about you pulling up in the Hellcat because Brent Venables, he got hired, and he's like, all right, go to Florida, get R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
What a great development story, huh?
Yeah, just he's the quintessential example of development. A lot of people are going to be talking about, and they want to say in hindsight, oh man, this is a freaking no doubt guy.
How did he hold on to that ball?
Yeah, I don't know. R. Mason should have got it out.
There you go.
But he when I saw him, I always joke with him that when I showed up, I think he told me he was 6'3" or 6'4", so he was on his tippy toes when I met him the first time, trying to look taller. He was probably 210. He's 250 now, and a dude that probably was the best player in my room going into his sophomore year. That was kind of snake bit that year by ankle injuries, and frustrated but man, didn't transfer, didn't leave, didn't quit, didn't mope, and was all conference last year, had 9 sacks, and is just seeing him growing as a leader now, and to not just he's grown as a player, there's no question about it, but his leadership has been awesome. It's been a great example of what happens if you bloom where you're planted.
It's been awesome to see. Quick break. We'll come back, talk about one of my favorites, Taylor Wine, PJ Adebawore, a lot, and Marvin Jones Jr. inside the Coach's Corner with Miguel Chavis.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Coach's Corner is brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
The screens, all this eye candy's going this way. The screens typically come from the back side of that. And he sniffs it out here, does a really good job of sniffing it out. They started the game with a Y screen, which in all my years playing Texas, that has never happened. And here Taylor does a wonderful job of sniffing it out. Just makes a really good instinctual play right there. And Taylor does that. He plays fast. He has a good, for a young guy that hasn't played a ton of college football, he has a really good feel. He can tell the difference. You're not really trying to block me and protect me. You're trying to deceive me. And a lot of guys think, oh man, I beat a block, and I'm gonna go make the play. Man, you ain't been playing all year. And all of a sudden you come free. Well, he does a good job of, okay, you let me go, there's something going on. And not gonna fool me. And so that's just a really heads up instinctual play. Well coached and well prepared. You saw his coach right there, Coach Chavis, coming out there, giving him the flex and having some fun there, celebrating, some success. But he's been fantastic. He's up in the building here right now. He shows up when the coaches do and leaves after the coaches leave. And all the hard work has really paid off. I love his spirit, love his energy, love his motor. Super coachable, very humble. Coach Chavis treats him like a little brother, and he receives it really well. Yeah. And it's allowed him to grow exponentially. He's got a chance to have a great, great future.
That's from the Brent Venables show on Sundays, talking about Taylor Wine and giving you credit for the job that you've done in developing him, Coach. What a fun story Taylor's developed into this year.
He gets all the credit. That dude's up here more than half the staff probably. I talk to the academic people, and they swear that he's in class. And I don't know if we're going COVID online classes, 2020 style, but they call him Coach Wine. He keeps a chair right beside me, and just a guy that's highly invested, and a guy that nobody wanted. Johnny 2-star, Johnny 3-star, and but he's long, he's smart, he's fast, he's violent, and he cares. And so you get a guy that's long, fast, violent, that cares, and he's coachable. Man, I rip him just as hard or harder than anybody, and he's just like this. And he doesn't have to. I can tell him one time, and he'll change it. He doesn't make the same mistakes over and over again, and so he's doing well for himself. We're proud of him. We love him dearly. And a kid that, Mike and Patty, his mom and his dad, he's got like 18 brothers and sisters, and they're at every game. And but he just cares, man. And a dude that's been a great example of, he started a game this year. I view him as a co-starter. He'll start the half, he'll start a game, and we're going to play him just as much as anybody. And doesn't moan, doesn't complain, grateful, thankful, appreciative, loves the coaches, loves his team, and it's tough. We'll fight you anywhere. And so he's the epitome of what we're looking for at Oklahoma at defensive end.
He has become maybe my favorite player on the football team because for whatever reason now, right before kickoff every game, he comes and finds me and hits me as hard as he can.
Yeah, he does that to
and
me.
I have to act like it doesn't hurt.
He does that to me too.
I have to act like it doesn't hurt, but I won't lie. He got me with the shoulder right before the kickoff at Texas, and I was like,
Well, we have a weird relationship because we're close, and then he'll be like, "Let's go, Coach Shave," and push me. I'm like, "Hey, dude, don't be doing that all the time."
Hey, man, I'm getting
what I
old.
mean?
I'm not what I used to be, bro.
I'm your coach,
Chill
bro.
out.
That's
He's all in.
You mentioned it earlier, but let's get into South Carolina.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, you cannot be fooled by the 3-3 record.
Oh, dude, come on.
This offense, you look at some of the body types, some of the athletes they have on this offense, and let's start with Sellers, man. He may be the most physically gifted quarterback in all of college football.
He's special. Just turn on the tape, and you'll watch play after play of defensive players. You think you got them, and you don't. And he eludes and evades tackles and sacks, and he extends plays, and he's a real quarterback. He's a real quarterback. They got a better passing offense than the team in Austin that we just played. They got just put up a couple hundred yards of rushing on an opponent. I mean, this is a real team. And got a great head coach and Shane Beamer, who Oklahoma fans know really, really well. And their offensive line plays really hard. And they got weapons. They got weapons in the backfield. They got weapons catching the ball. But everything starts with him, obviously. They've done an amazing job, a really good job, as you watch the tape, of building the offense around him. They've done a really good job. And he's a great player, man. He's one of those guys, when I was at a different school, we played and had to scheme up Lamar Jackson and Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts and guys like that. And this guy is really powerful. He looks like a defensive end at quarterback, and he's a real dude. He's a real threat. And so for a guy to be as young as he is and to be as good as he is, any competitor, man, you have to know and respect your opponent, and he is worthy. He is worthy.
As I've watched him,
Yeah.
the thing that scares me most about him is when he gets out of the pocket.
Sure.
What he can do, not only with his legs, but throwing the ball down the field. Now, I think he hasn't seen some things quite as well as he should in some of the scramble drill stuff, but how does that change the way that you guys approach rushing the passer in this game, knowing that when he does get out of that pocket, like, bad things can happen?
Yeah, well, I think, you just once again, turn on the tape. You show your players what happens if you do not execute the game plan against them like you're supposed to. We have a game plan, and we say this to our guys all the time. All right, we have a game plan. Whatever's in the game plan, our expectation as coaches is that you execute it perfectly. Now, is that going to happen? No.
Right.
But the standard's the standard.
Yep.
And so you don't hold somebody to a different standard. If we put it in the game plan, if we've repped it, if we've taught it well, if we've done half of our freaking job as coaches to teach it well, and we've repped it, we've drilled it, we've taught you the risk, we've taught you. Now, once again, as coaches, don't ask your players to do something they can't do. right? But this is a hardened, talented group of young men in the Oklahoma defense. They've been through the mud. They've been through Schmitty. They've been with Coach V and our coaching staff for some of them going on 3 or 4 years. And so you just show them examples of, all right, this is a real dude. And if you don't execute or rush how you're supposed to versus this guy, or if you don't execute this, whatever this game plan or coverage or stun or front is, this is what happens. And so that's what creates, I think, the most buy-in is when they see just, how crucial it is or how detrimental it is if you don't do your job.
This segment, by the way, has been brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. By the way, final 30 seconds we have here. You've coached there. You've played there.
I'm excited for the trip.
Yeah, I've never. A lot of us haven't been out there.
No, it's a real deal. Listen, at Willie B, it's a real deal. They have an amazing fan base. I played there. I played against them 4 times. Played there twice. Coached there twice or 3 times. And it's a very prideful team and fan base. And they got the gamecock and the cage shaking it, and it's just a real deal.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Coach, appreciate your time, man. Best of luck Saturday.
Appreciate you guys. God bless.
There he is, Miguel Chavis. We'll wrap it up next inside the Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Our final segment for Gabe and I before we get ready to head to Columbia, South Carolina for the first time. Did you ever play out there?
No.
No, never covered
I've only
a game
been
out there.
to the state of South Carolina one time for a work trip with my wife. And
Oh,
we
wow.
went to Charleston. And I remember I posted something about it on social media, and guess who hit me up immediately and was like, why did you not reach out to me?
Shane Beamer.
Of course.
The best.
The best.
This final segment is brought to you by Warren Cat, proud sponsor of Sooner Athletic. But for today and for this weekend, Shane Beamer is the enemy.
Enemy Shane.
It's time to look at our opponent breakdown. It's brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan Field, athlete focused, early morning kick. And, you know, Miguel Chavis said it, even talking to Doug Deacon, he said it. Don't be fooled by the record. This is a very good football team, preseason top 12 team.
The thing that stands out is the body types on this team. Lenore Sellers, maybe the most talented, physically gifted player on offense in all of college football. And Dylan Stewart at the edge spot for them, maybe the most physically talented and gifted edge player in college football. They've got dudes when you look at height, weight, speed, but their offensive line has struggled. They just fired their offensive line coach.
Yep.
They've had a tough time protecting Sellers. They've had a tough time running it efficiently. I can't imagine that all gets on track against our defense, but there's just no doubt our offense has to come and play well. If they do not, it's going to be a sad flight home from Columbia. This team they got a ton of talent. They are more than capable of beating us.
All right, we'll see you there Saturday, huh? Thanks to Doug Deacon. Thanks to Miguel Chavis. Thanks to you. Until next week, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
This has been the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.